This pedal came in like a blizzard and will leave you barking at the moon. Let's check out the Friedman IRJ. The Friedman IR range has been around for a little while now, and essentially what they are pedal versions of their iconic amps. We've done a couple of reviews on them already, so if you do want to get more of a lowdown on what these pedals actually are, then you can click above my head and you can check them out after you've watched this video here. But essentially, in a nutshell, they are preamp loaded guitar amp pedals that you can either plug directly into, say, a DAW or a PA system and get that kind of iconic tone without having to cart around a 100-watt amplifier. Now, this brand new version that's come out is based on the J.K. Lee signature amplifier that Friedman launched, I think about a year ago now, maybe 2 years. We did a review on that one as well. And they recently just launched a 100-watt version of this. So this is the third member of the family. Kind of what you're getting with this is that sort of iconic 80s sort of like shred guitar sort of sound. It's very, very similar to the actual amplifier that we tried as well. But let's just dive in with some sounds here. Obviously, we'll split this video up into some chapters if you do want to just check a certain section. But let's just see how this is sounding right out the box. So we're currently on channel 1 here, and here's everything set relatively neutral right out the box here. So we'd probably consider that one your clean to crunch channel there. You can certainly get up to pretty sort of high gain spots by putting the gain all the way to the top, as you would imagine. But it's not that like immediate, like, you know, super searing sort of sound, which this pedal certainly has got built into it, but this channel, as I said, would probably kind of more be considered like your clean or your crunch channel there. And what it will kind of vary is obviously what cab you're going to be using. And this is, again, a function that's available on the other IR pedals. You are able to mix and match the cabs that are in the actual pedal itself. You can load your own IRs into it as well by just plugging this into your computer. But we were just on the one right in the middle there. Let's check what the other ones are sounding like. I'll keep it on a relatively like clean-ish channel. You know what, I'll stick on a little bit of reverb for it as well, just so we've got a little bit of space. So there is another switch as well, which that's going to control the brightness of the channel. Now when it's in the middle there, that's it just set kind of bypassed. When you put it up, that's where you're going to get a little bit more high end, and when you put it down, you're going to get a lot kind of fuller sound. So here is it just in neutral, that's what you've been hearing as for the rest of this demo so far. So it gives you a lot of scope just even without actually touching the EQ there, because I really didn't kind of go into any sort of, you know, switching with the EQ at all. That was all just being controlled by that bright switch, so you're getting a lot out of it. One last thing that is universal across both channels as well, but I'm not really going to show much of it, is the boost. Now that's controlled via this foot switch just down the bottom here, and is actually just, that's the volume of your boost there. So you can set that, and that's of, you know, it's going to come in clutch when you need a little bit of a boost to your solo. Now let's go over to channel 2, which I would definitely consider, and as you heard from that there, is the much higher gain of the two channels. Now it does share the same 3-band EQ sort of design, but you can EQ both of them completely different if you do need to. It's got the bright switch and it has the cab IRs. Now the only thing that's different is this gain switch here. So when it is down, this is the exact same sort of gain structure as the first channel. Whereas when we flick that up, actually let's hear just the gain down there. Then if I flick it up, now we're starting to cook a little bit more. So that's going to be the one you're going to want to use for any sort of high gain solos or sort of any like riffing as you would expect from kind of, you know, something that's very inspired by 80s shred guitar. Now if I turn that gain all the way to the top here, it's still, there's obviously going to be a little bit more noise, so you're probably going to want to use like a noise suppressor or something like that. But cranking that all the way to the top, I still find it really usable, and especially with like a guitar like this, it's got a particularly heavy output. A high output pickup in it is. I guess it is heavy as well, isn't it? Of course, going a bit too ham on that Floyd Rose there, so it's slightly out of tune. But while I tune my guitar back up, this is probably a good time to chat about some of the other features. So much like the other Friedman IRJ models, this does have MIDI built into it. As I mentioned earlier, you can go through USB into your computer, so this could technically be an interface as well. It does have just a singular balanced out on it as well, so if you do want to go stereo, you're going to need to obviously use like a version, like a stereo cable to kind of go through that. There is also a 3.5 headphone out as well, which I think is really handy, obviously for folk who are, you know, traveling with one of these and maybe you want to use it as just a practice sort of pedal, which is, I mean, I've used this with headphones just before we started playing as well, and it sounds absolutely superb. And the reverb that I'm using today is actually going through an effects loop just in the back there as well. Now, you are able to store certain presets just into this as well. That's just done by setting it wherever you need to and then just pressing and holding the boost button there. And you can bypass the IR if you just want to use the preamp going into, say, the effects loop of an actual valve amp. And you can bypass the loop of the effects loop as well by just pressing and holding the channel 2 there. Now, I did mention you can obviously load in your own IRs into this, and you can as well. But one of the things with these is that obviously you're hearing this all just completely by itself, maybe with a bit of reverb on some of the lead parts and some of the kind of like chuggier parts that was playing there. But these pedals do take other pedals really, really well. So, you know, if you do want to throw like a boost in the front of it, or an overdrive, or even have, you know, all your time-based effects like going into the effects loop as well, I think it sounds absolutely incredible. And speaking of pedals as well, we have just launched these 20th anniversary guitar shirts, which you can check out just in the link below, along with all the links to all the equipment that we use today. But that is just about kind of as much as I want to go into with the brand new Friedman IRJ. It's very much, you know, it's that kind of 80s shred thing, as I've mentioned a couple of times throughout the video. And you're going to get just, you know, all the kind of gain that you need out of that second channel. But with that first channel there, you're certainly going to have like a really nice clean tone. And there's lots of options for tone in it as well. It's, you know, it's not distinctly just sort of focused on the 80s stuff, but certainly for all you out there who are into that, you'll absolutely love this. But let me know what you think about the brand new Friedman IRJ preamp pedal in the comments down below. While you're there, give us a like and a subscribe if you have enjoyed the video at all. Really does help the channel, and also you can keep up with all the latest news at GGHQ. But until next time, I've been Kieran, and this has just been a very quick look at the Friedman IRJ JK Lee signature preamp pedal. Have a great day.